You're listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more.
Well, Poweramente, this is your boy Al Mega. Welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders podcast. And today, we're talking indie with an amazing creative duo. Oh man, y'all, get ready. We have an amazing writer that has just been rocking for a minute, and he's actually touched upon already iconic characters. The man is a boss. And then we got his fellow collaborator, a return collaborator at that. You know, they're re-teaming up, right? And he's done some stuff on the John. I mean, just killing it too in the game, working on some legendary stuff. Man, I am proud to introduce this creative force, this creative tornado, hurricane. They are like, you know what I mean? The most powerful force in comics that's coming. Y'all don't know. But this is their second one. It's gonna blow your mind. When they release their independent energy upon the world via Magma Comix, you know what I mean? Yeah, those books are as hot as the core of the earth. That's right. Let me introduce the legendary Joey Esposito and Sean von Gorman. Wepa, fellas, how you doing?
Wow, thank you so much. That's the
Great
greatest
intro
I've ever received in my entire life.
Let's go. You guys are legendary. You guys make it fun. You make comics fun. You bring in the game top notch, and that's what we need in this, pop culture universe. And I appreciate you guys for what you do. Daniel, happy Friday. That's right, Friday, as a matter of fact. That's why I'm live and I'm feeling good. I know these guys are too, because this project is coming out real soon in August. When it's hot. You feel me? Just when you don't want to go outside too much, you're gonna have something really good to read through Magma Comix. Now, this is Comic Crusaders, and I need to know, first of all, a couple of things. Where y'all from, and of course, the first thing you guys felt in love with in fandom. And let me start with the man that showed up first, which is SVG himself, Mr. Sean von Gorman.
I'm Sean von Gorman of comics. I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, wait. What part of Brooklyn?
South Brooklyn mostly. Spent some time in Canarsie, Bensonhurst, a little bit of Greenpoint, Williamsburg, and then back South Brooklyn. So, I'm an endangered species, as I learned when I was dating. After people just look at you like, "Oh, you're from here?" Like, yeah. I'm an endangered species. There's a wildlife preserve of my kind in Staten Island right now, of all the people who moved to Staten Island who used to live in South Brooklyn, because Staten Island is now what Brooklyn used to be in the 80s, and that's why people like it.
Oh, really? Don't tell me that shit. I'll move out there.
Yeah, it's a time machine. It's like they put a bubble over it, and they go, "We don't need to change. We're good. We'll take the iPhones, but everything else is staying the same."
Well, I'm an Android man, so iPhones will stay where they are. What was the first thing you ever fell in love with in fandom?
Ooh, probably my earliest memory is He-Man. So like I was that kid running around with any kind of sword down his back, jumping around in my diaper, and then probably like right in that sweet spot of like the Ninja Turtles and Ghostbusters fandoms growing up. And then,
where's Ghostbusters? Remember, I think you need to clarify, because I am of that era, and there was 2 Ghostbusters shows at the time. Remember that?
Not the original Ghostbusters, but the real Ghostbusters.
Okay.
Not the Larry Stork show with the gorilla.
Yeah.
Which then they later made into another in the Filmation Ghostbusters cartoon. Which, what a weird show! And then, like, you tell your parents, "Yeah, I want to watch Ghostbusters." Like, "Oh, this is Ghostbusters." Like, what is happening?
Exactly. That's why I always want people to clarify, because especially from our era, we had 2 Ghostbusters. Which one are you talking about?
Where's Egon? Why is the car talking?
Right? Why the hell is there a gorilla in this thing?
What's great how you can have the same name but very two very different ideas about how to fight ghosts.
Isn't that amazing? I see Joey smiling over there. He probably experienced this, and if he has not, please do, because your mind will be blown.
Oh no, this is the happiest Joey's ever been. He's happy to be here.
Talk to me, homie. Where you from originally, and of course, the first thing you fell in love with.
So I'm Joey. I'm originally from the Berkshires in Western Massachusetts, a town called Pittsfield, which is as great as it sounds. And oh, they're gonna get so mad at me. No, it was, a great place to grow up overall. And then after multiple sort of trips of moving across the country a dozen times, I now live in Maine, where it's spooky all the time, and I love it. And the first thing that I fell in love with had to have been Superman, the Christopher Reeve movie, and the comics, and the various cartoons of the 80s, and Super Friends and all that stuff. And then a close second is probably Star Wars. Has continued to this day.
Star Wars has been on a streak on this show. Like, I swear to God, every guest that I get for the past 15 guests, Star Wars.
Very, very important to the fiber of my being, for sure.
And that's crazy. I'm from the era, but the thing, but like Star Wars, it captured my attention.
Mm-hmm.
Comic books, captured my attention. Yeah. Cartoons, that shit captured the shit out of me. Like, it was really, to be honest, the first Star Wars movie that captured me was actually Rogue One, because I was unconvinced until I saw Rogue One. I said, oh shit. I said, wait a minute. All right. Now let me go back. Now I want to go back and see what's popping. All right, bet. So that really kind of hooked me. I like that narrative. Again, everybody dies. I like those fucked up stories. Just, hey, I'm from Brooklyn. What do you want? Sean knows.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's great about, science fiction, where Star Wars is kind of doing what Star Trek has been doing forever, where Star Trek just blatantly rips off things all the time. Yeah. Where you just have this world, and this episode is going to be a courtroom drama. This is a medical drama. This is an army show. But Star Wars is slowly starting to be like, oh, what if we did Dirty Dozen with Star Wars? And wouldn't that be a cool movie? And that's what Rogue One is. Yeah. And they're starting to kind of do that, where they're taking the pieces of the world. Disney took over. They made a couple movies. There's some good things, there's some bad things about it. But now I think we're seeing with these side projects and the shows, we're seeing, the people who grew up loving it, who are taking these pieces, and we're starting to see that like in The Mandalorian and Ahsoka. Dave Filoni, that's an hour there. We could just talk about him.
But you know what? Dave could wait, because we ain't talking about Dave unless he's the pedestrian. You know what I mean?
Oh, he's coming on. He's coming on now. He's on the show. And here he is.
You know what I mean? All right. So let me continue with Joe real quick over here. Talk about, did you have a tribe going on when you were growing up in your geekdom, or were you kind of a lone wolf?
No, I have a very, very tight-knit group of close friends who, some of whom I've known my entire life. Some we met in middle school and have been friends ever since. We talk every day still. I was best man in the 7th grade friend's wedding, and we all sort of connected over specifically Star Wars, but also comics and video games and all that stuff. So it was very much a group kind of thing, I watched something like Stranger Things, and immediately I'm just like, that's how I feel like my group wasn't like D&D necessarily, but hanging out in our friend's basement every night, playing video games and eating garbage. And those times are very special to me. And I'm so thankful that we're all still very close, and still our text message thread is usually just about the same bullshit we've been talking about for 30 years. You know what I mean? It's just like, who's that masked character in the Acolyte trailer or whatever. And it's just it's really delightful. And I'm very thankful for that.
Well, you're very lucky to have that, that tribe. I got my tribe too, luckily, since I was a young teen myself. So I get that. I feel you there, my brother. How about you, Sean? You had a tribe when you geeked them growing up, or what?
Very much a lone wolf. I have a tribe since I decided to pursue a career in comics, and now as an adult, but as a kid, growing up in Canarsie, South Brooklyn, you let people know you're into that kind of stuff, and it's pop out. where, you know, I was the kid who was always wearing your Superman pajamas under your clothes just in case.
Never know.
Of the kid's mentality of like, this, I might need this, and then that kind of stuck through high school.
Are you telling me that you thought for one moment as a kid, like, yeah, if somebody is in need of my help, I'm gonna literally strip out of my normal clothes and help them?
I think so. I think there is an age where you kind of have that. There's that Batman age where you just dress up like Batman every day. But for some reason, that never left me. Where, like, through college, like one Halloween, we all went to a bar, and I kind of went to the bathroom and came back dressed as Batman, and then continued the night. And then at one point, had so many drinks that I just ran off into the night, and they found me like lurking on things.
He was on top of a trash bin, like, yo, I'm watching you. All right, there we go.
Not the hero you need, but the hero you deserve. Swear to me.
Excuse me. Right, all right,
like falafel.
So, Joey, talk about that. You diving into your creative journey. I mean, when did that all happen? When did you take all this serious and say, "Hey, I want to start like sharing what I'm doing out there"?
I think very, very gradually, and then took off in a very weird way. I'd always drawn, but was never really focused on the drawing. I'd been in bands, I'd been an actor, I'd done like sketch comedy, written plays. Like I went to Murrow, and like art was always there, but it was always presented to me as something like, this is great, you do this, but you can't do this as a job. And then I was working at a hotel. The buddy of mine, we just decided to like maybe just start working on a book, and that book was about like an action adventure series about Harry Houdini. And then some through a stroke of luck, someone at the hotel we'd become friendly with was the then head of Disney Pictures, Rich Ross. Found out I was an artist and saw our book and said something to the effect of, "I really loved your book. I don't do too much of the publishing, but we just bought Marvel. I can make some phone calls for you." And then sure enough, I get a phone call at work from Axel Lanza's assistant back when he was at Marvel. And then we're in Marvel Comics talking about a book we wrote. And then just that level of craziness just never stopped. Of then like, after that, we decided, let's just keep this energy up. So I started doing straitjacket escapes at shows to promote the book. Famously, I was chained to the outside of Forbidden Planet to sell books, where I was chained to a comic shop for 8 hours while selling a book I'd made, and that's what got the book published. And I've been continuing to try and match that energy ever since.
Oh, there we go. How about you, Joey? Talk to me about your journey and stepping into the game.
I won a contest. I'm lucky to be here. No, I've always been writing stories, and I went to film school for college, you know, with like the idea that I would make movies or something adjacent to that. And what I really fell in love with at school was screenwriting. And also while I was in college, they offered some comics courses, and I'd always loved comics, but never considered like, oh, that's something I can do to tell the stories I want to tell at a much less expensive fashion, in a way that can guarantee that they'll be made, instead of like writing a screenplay and then waiting for 1,000 other people to get on board. And there's some of that in comics, but also you can just do it because everything is like readily available to you to self-publish or whatever the case may be, put it on the internet. And so I've started making my own mini comics, you know, going to Kinko's and photocopying stuff and stapling them together and handing them out. Very crudely, poorly drawn comic strips that I wrote and drew myself. And then, you know, like just started connecting with artists and really just dipping my toes in and just kind of learning as I went. And it seems to be working out so far. And, you know, I'll write anything. I've written novels, I've written screenplays, but there's nothing that compares to comics. I love the collaboration aspect. I love the sort of closed nature of it. Like you're working very intensely with your collaborator. Sean and I talk all the time. You know, we text each other at random hours of the night with ideas, and like that just feels like making cool shit with a friend of mine, and that's like all I want to do in life. And I hope I can get paid for it, but I'm happy with like the process and the final product. It's a blast.
So let me continue with you a moment then. All right.
Okay.
Before I ask Sean. Tell me the story here then of the bromance or the promance, if you will. How did
I like that. I like that promance. We're gonna take that. So I was writing a project called Pawn Shop and needed an artist, and I put out a thing on Twitter. It was like, this is what I'm looking for, and got a bunch of replies and stuff. And Sean's art immediately spoke to me. And then, as he mentioned, I learned that he liked to handcuff himself outside of a comic store to get people to buy his comic. The first time I met him in person at New York Comic Con, he was in a straitjacket, and I was like, I think I should work with this guy.
This guy's a nut. I love it.
He's got a showmanship about him that I really love. And like, it wasn't easy, I don't think. I think our bromance started with some conflict, as many great relationships often do.
It was very pushy.
I mean, we'll get to you, Sean. So wait. So
watch it.
Yeah, he throws his stuff, and we'll let the public decide who's the truthful person.
History will be my judge.
No, but it was more about our lives outside of comics. I think was impacting our collaboration and like our expectations and maybe some ego or whatever. And I always say this, that like I feel like my career didn't really make strides until I figured out my own personal shit, and like my private life and whatever. Like once I was happy there, I was able to like give my full attention to the creative stuff. And that, I think, spilled over to my collaborations, and specifically with Sean working on Pawn Shop was, it was hard, not because of between us, but just because of the circumstances. And then to finally get that book made and published by a publisher, only for that publisher to kind of like completely pivot what they were doing right at the time that our book had just come out, and just kind of like was a fart in the wind to the degree, like we got a great response from it. No one bought it. And it's just like kind of happened, and then everyone moved on. But I think like that only strengthened our resolve, and we kept working together on new pitches until quarantine happened, and then the Pedestrian came up. And long story short, it was basically like we've been trying to get people to tell us yes when we shouldn't have been asking for permission at all. And I think like once we locked into that sort of mindset together, that's when the Pedestrian started rolling. And I think like we've seen that good things have come from us, like believing in our partnership and believing in the project that we had.
All right. Sean, talk to me. How many truths were there in Joey's story?
Joey's not a liar. I've definitely mellowed a lot since my initial. I was a very brash youth coming into the scene with a lot of extra energy that wasn't asked for. But yeah, it's developed. This is a very long relationship of like taking. The thing about working in comics, it's like you have to. It's like a carousel, but there's no horses. It's just you standing there and just getting punches to the face. And then eventually you learn how to either take those punches or duck or dip. The punches are always coming. You just need to figure out what to do with when you get those punches.
Yes. Absolutely. Learn how to duck and dive, right? Dip and dive, baby.
Just like the Pedestrian does.
Yeah, but listen, as a New York, even as a Massachusetts person, if you're in Boston. Anyway, all right. So you guys did what you've done, and that's great. Everybody's talked about that stuff, but we need to be talking about this new baby that is being birthed from Magma Comix. That's right, folks. You can follow this amazing new independent publisher on social at Magma Comix with an X. All right, on social. This book is dropping August 7th. Yeah, so I'm telling you, it's a nice early tease. Right? We're talking about this dope new book that's dropping called The Pedestrian, baby.
There it is.
Esposito, Sean Von Gorman, The Pedestrian #1, dropping August 7th. I mean, look at that, baby. What is this man doing? All right. Talk to me. I mean, who wants to introduce our fellow Crusaders to The Pedestrian?
So the Pedestrian is the story of a street level costumed hero who never breaks the law to fight crime. It's sort of inspired by our upbringings, living in cities and then living in small towns, and also being into comics and thinking of a lot of the issues that were becoming very prevalent during 2020 lockdown. I had this idea to do, what if the Flash couldn't run? What if he was just a guy in a costume just walking at normal speed? And I thought, I was so entertained by that thought. So so he's walking, so then maybe he's inspired by the blinking man in the crossing sign. And that's all I really had. I had the name of the Pedestrian, and I had a costume design. And I couldn't think of anything but one joke of he stops a mugging and the guy runs away and he just walks and then stops at a red light because he can't cross. So then I remembered working with Joey on our book pawn shop and how great Joey is at writing rich characters, that we figured we would build a realistic real world where just this one weird thing's happened with this guy connecting all of these small stories together. On top of which we thought it'd be really cool to have, a costumed hero of color who doesn't jump to violence to solve problems. Because, in the world, comics are fun, but how many times has someone actually saved your life or helped you without having to beat up a bunch of people? And then on the surface, it's like a quirky superhero slice of life thing, but beneath the surface, there's an ancient war brewing linked to the secret history of street signs.
Street signs.
Yeah, I mean, why do we stop at a stop sign? Have we ever thought about this? Is it something we're taught? Is it something, maybe this is some lost knowledge, some ancient totem from before civilization? Why does a street sign look like that?
So let me use this example of putting a red circle around the wall, and apparently everybody ignores it because around the red circle, which means danger.
Yeah, I mean, we got all these symbols. Do we really understand what they are? Are we following them? Are we not following them?
But I also think it's this idea of often we'll follow them without question, and it doesn't have to literally be a street sign or whatever, but there are certain truths that we accept, right? That we just do because it's what we've always been told that we are supposed to do. But what if you didn't? And what does that look like? Is that good or is that bad?
So
I think a lot. Yes.
When he asked you this, though, when he brought this thing to you, this project, this idea, and he presented it, what did you immediately think of? Was it something that you immediately said, "Oh shit, I get it," or "Give me a minute"?
It was immediate. I mean, the character design is great, but also it instantly reminded me of my hometown. And there is a gentleman there who I'm pretty sure is still running around town, but you would see him just walking, kind of speed walking everywhere. Yeah. And just going to get groceries or whatever, always walking. Never found out his name. They wrote about him in the paper, I think. He was a staple of the community, but didn't really know him, but he stuck with me. And then that led me to thinking about my hometown, which
I know his name. His name is Speed Buns.
Speed Buns. That's him. But growing up in that town, at the time, it was the world headquarters for General Electric, and they left in the late 80s and just sort of devastated the town, right? Just mass layoffs. There's still giant factories that are just empty. There's a lake that they polluted to shit that you can't swim in. There's the Simpsons three-eyed fish in the lake. all
Have
that,
you tried to dive in and get superpowers in that lake or no?
I mean, if only, but I think it's just cancer,
superpower,
unfortunately. Even, you know, there was PCBs in an elementary school that they had to dig up when I was a kid. So it's just like that sort of idea combined with this character and thinking about growing up in a town like that, where everyone, all the adults who have like settled into their lives there are telling you this town has nothing for you. You need to like work really hard so you can make sure to move away somewhere where, you know, you can be successful or whatever. And so like growing up in a community that is telling you, you got to get out. Like, why would you want to form any connection to that community? Or why would you like think anything other than, oh, I'm living in a doomed town. Right. And so a lot of that stuff, when I saw this character and started thinking about it, that's sort of what I was bringing here. And a lot of the characters that you meet sort of start this story with this feeling of dread about living in Summer City and like it's a black hole and they're never going to escape, or some thought they had escaped and somehow got pulled back in. And it all ties into what the Pedestrian is doing and what he represents in the community.
You know, and for people that are curious, right? Yeah, you know me. I normally have a PowerPoint. I do got 2 covers to show you, but I got something even more special to show you right now. We actually have the Pedestrian trailer from Magma Comix. Check this out. Well, but why the homie look like he's twerking when he's walking? What is going? Yeah, I got him.
He's a decor.
You know, like Edie Chacon and shit. If you don't know who that is, please look it up, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, okay." You will be an instant fan. All right, all right, bet. So, folks, I mean, the artist, though. I mean, talk about that artistry. How long have you guys been working on the project? How many issues we getting? Is this an ongoing? Is it a mini? What's popping? Talk to me. Tease us.
So we are greenlit for 4 issues. We're going to have a 4-issue series. The first issue is dropping August 7th. It's in pre-orders right now. So anything you see or liking, go down to your local comic shop, say, I need you to have this in the shop for me. We've got, if we can get the numbers to where they need to be, this could potentially become an ongoing. Magma's a new publisher, so they want to be realistic with expectations. But we've got a really fantastic story if we only get to do one of these. But if we get to, we've got 3 arcs that we're planning. And if we can get to this 3rd arc, it's going to be a wild, wild story. We're throwing everything we've ever wanted to do in a comic in this comic. We've been working on this for, I think the first pages were like late 2019, and then 2020, we really started lockdown. This was our secret project that we did not tell anyone about. We worked in a complete vacuum for a year, just trying to make the best thing we could make, with no ego, the occasional argument of like, what's the better idea here? And then at the end of that year, we started showing it to our friends like Dean Haspiel, saw it and loved it and agreed to do a cover. And then reintroduced me to Mike Allred to get Mike Allred, who is my hero. Like Madman is like the comic that made me want to do comics.
That's the Dean right there, right? That's
Dean Haspiel right there. And today is his birthday. So happy birthday, Dean.
Happy birthday, Dean.
Hey, happy birthday. I mean, and look what a dope cover for sure. And then you're talking that Allred, right?
Oh, Mike Allred right there.
Fuck, bro.
So, yeah,
that's what I said.
Fans out there.
Sick, bro. I mean, yeah, we're talking about these, but we also got the OG right here, which is fire in itself too. I mean, it definitely makes you curious. Like, what is this? What the hell is going on here? That's why I dig that. Yeah. But I all the covers are fire. I mean, all dropping August 7th, folks. And you know what, guys? Based on the price point, make sure you guys order A, B, and C. Just why not? You know what I mean? It makes beautiful artwork for the wall. Put them in frames. You know what I mean? Come on. And one to read.
If you're a retailer, Magma books are returnable of their main covers. So if you really wanted to, you could order 4,000 and return them if you wanted to. Get our numbers up. We don't have to talk about the returns.
Dude, like stop.
We sold 100,000 books. How many were returned? Don't worry about it.
Yeah. We sold. I get it. So, Big Joe, man, I mean, how do you feel about the project coming and all? You excited? You're happy? What's going on here, man? Are you ready to? You want to be able to tell more of these stories and share?
So the longer that we work on this, our original plan was like 3 arcs, but now that we're working on it and getting to know the characters, and just like new ideas are constantly popping up, and like, oh, we could go in this direction and do this. Like if we had our druthers and just free reign to just keep going as long as we wanted, I think anything is possible. There's so much, as you'll see in the issues to come. We crack a lot of eggs. We open a lot of doors. There's a lot of weird shit. And I think like we can really dig in deep if we want to. And I'm really excited about that possibility. I've told Sean this. I've said this to other friends, but this is the most fun I've had making comics. And like making comics has been fun in general, but this is the best experience because it's been the most collaborative, the most just kind of freewheeling, in that we're constantly just spinning out new ideas and like getting excited about things. And, Sean will draw something that will inspire me, or, vice versa. And it's so much fun to just hang out and make something that's cool as shit. And hopefully people like it, but I'm really happy with it. And that's all I can really ask for,
Excellent. So, all right. So, what's up with the touring circuit? So that we could get these books signed when they dropped in August. You know what I mean? We want to go see you guys at the con. But even before then, are you doing anything coming up? And by then, are you doing anything so we could get those signatures on those books? And what's going on? Let me know.
Well, if you're in Long Island this weekend, I'll be at Trek Long Island, shucking Star Trek books with Heather Antos. I will have some of the old ash cans if you're around, but our big thing is we're going to be at San Diego Comic-Con in July. We're working on establishing a big presence with Magma. We're going to put on a big showing that hasn't been announced yet, but we will have copies at San Diego, a special cover just for the show. So we're coming out.
What a tease! What a tease, baby! You heard this, folks?
And I want to say that it's one of the raddest things Sean has ever drawn. He showed it to me and I freaked out.
Oh, really, bro? Oh, shit, bro. Oh, man. All right, yeah. You see that smile that Joey got, folks?
This is rare.
Yeah. He's telling you everything. Mad people don't really smile too much. They nod. But he's smiling and nodding. I mean, that's a double whammy right there, baby.
I need to stress that this is literally the happiest in the 12 years I've known him. He never smiled before. Since the Pedestrian got greenlit, he's been all teeth, and I didn't know he had teeth.
You know what? I actually, that is why I'm feeling Joey's energy, because that's what people thought of me all through school. And the first time they ever saw me smile was in my senior picture. And they're like, why were you smiling there? Because I was fucking finally finished to did not see your goddamn faces anymore.
Then they realized, oh, he was funny this whole time, and we didn't know.
Exactly. Yo, I was quiet, leave me alone. I was just, it was back in the day. You stay graded with your hood, and that's that, I was trying to not step on toes, but everybody liked me for some odd reason anyway. It's like, all right, I was cool with everybody. Nobody bothered me. My friends, another story.
Yeah, and outside of that, and once the book comes out, we'll be touring heavily. We're working on a mini tour of the East Coast for sure, but we'll be hitting the West Coast as well. Any retailers listening, reach out. Any store that can help us travel out there.
Talk to me about this music, though. I mean, who is Sal? How did you meet Sal? This song is called "Don't Walk," and it's the theme for the Pedestrian folks. Talk about this.
So Sal Bazzuzo, aka Sal 5000, is a collaborator I've worked with in bands since college, and he's a brilliant composer. He's one of those guys who can just pick up an instrument and just knows how to play it somehow. Anytime I have a project, I send it to Sal first, and I'm like, what do you got? So right now, he sent us like a whole soundtrack of like different moods and different beats, this being the main theme of it. And then we're working on a little thing for the release of the book, because we have we made a couple of toy prototypes. So we have
you got toys. Wait a minute. Oh,
and we made a toy commercial in sort of like a 90s Power Rangers energy type toy commercial. So Sal also composed sort of like that
ripping guitar lick
of this theme with like a Power Rangers level guitar lick to it. We're gonna drop that when the book comes out. But the early draft is incredible. I had my kids; their arms were playing with the toys. We built the set. I filmed it right here. We're really going hard with the creative energy on this one.
I love it. See, that's independent energy, baby. The spirit of two independent creators, man, just doing the thing. That's New York and Mass right here, working together. You see, guys, we don't gotta hate each other. Although screw the Red Sox still, but and the Patriots. But I'm just saying, you can still get along. You can still get along.
I think that's also what the book is about as well, because we have clear lines in the world. We have a line, and you have to be a very far distance away on either side of the line, and there's nothing. We're not on the line anymore. We're not working together anymore. We say two wrong words and we're not friends anymore. You voted for someone, you're not friends. And a lot of the Pedestrian is about how we slowly rebuild communities and work together.
As we should. We can't let outside narrative forces try to tell us how we should be and let that affect us the way that it does. Let's be critical thinkers on these things. You know what I mean? Think for ourselves and not just go and view one source and just get, all emotional about it. Please also don't be emotional. Be logical. It's okay. Use your brain. Your heart matters too, in your gut, but use your brain too.
Because it's all all of it is part of being a person, right? Like there's nuance in human nature. There's not just like good and evil. There's good people who do bad things, and there's bad people who do good things, and everything in between. And so I think something that we're doing in the book is just playing with that a little bit, and just seeing what shakes out of that. And I think hopefully people are surprised by the characters who connect, or connections between different characters in unexpected ways and things like that.
I can't wait. This is what's popping. It's Magma Comix, man. It's dropping real soon. So last question here, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's both of you. I want to add, let me go to Sean here. From the artistic side, what advice would you give any young artist trying to step into the game right now?
Learn as much as you can. Comics is very much a team sport, but the more things you can do adequately will get you farther. Take classes. During lockdown, I kind of went back to school and leveled up my game in a big way. I took classes at the Kubert School, but there's lots of great places you can reach out to. There's a Kubert School, does online classes, comic experience. You can learn, how to color, letter. The more things you can do, the quicker you can get projects done that you don't have to pay other people to do. And the more you understand how things work, the more effective you can understand your place in the machine of making a comic. Because comics is a team sport. Most books, at least 4, 5, maybe even 10 people are working on one comic to get a comic out each month, and to figure out what your strengths are and what your strengths are not. But if you're like a Jeff Smith type and you can write, draw, and letter, you can do whatever you want. And that's why I would say anybody, and never stop learning. Don't settle. Always push yourself and keep trying new things and keep being weird with it and follow your creative ideas. Because even in a business like comics, it's still a business and it's fun, but it can be a job. But always refresh and figure out the things you love about it, and chase those good feelings. Don't chase what you think success is going to be. Chase the art and chase the work, because that's what's going to bring you happiness and maybe some money. So money would be nice.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you now, Joey? From a writer's perspective, would you tell young cats coming into the game?
Yeah, I would definitely echo what Sean said in terms of chase the work and the stories that you want to tell, and not the perception that you have of people who are successful, because that's only going to make you spiral. But as a writer specifically, I think comic book writers are unique in that we have to be collaborative. Like, if you want your voice to be the only voice that is heard in a comic book, you're writing in the wrong medium. You need to work on a novel, because comics are collaborative by nature. Sean is a co-author. He's not a hired gun or whatever, and you need to respect that and understand that you got to take your ego out of it in order to tell the best version of the story, because you're working with incredible artists and letterers and colorers who bring so much depth and character to the work that you're doing. No one wants to read a comic book script. In fact, only like 3 people read them. It's the artist and the letterer and the editor. 4 people, because they're not public facing documents, because who cares? Like, that's not the part that matters. The part that matters is the finished work, and that's only with all of the artists. So you need to just remember that a comic writer really will be nothing without the they work with, and treat them fairly and be respectful of their time, and just be a good person to work with collaboratively.
I agree with that 100. Definitely be a good person and make it easy to work with your collaborative partners. And if you can't work together, that's fine. Just let it be. Move on with each other, love, and happiness, and just move fucking forward. I mean, no fucking grudges and shit. That's for ninnies. Stop it, folks. You gotta be happy. So go, Eddie. You see this creative force right here, this creative duo. They've worked together once before, but now they're bringing something even more phenomenal through Magma Comix and the Pedestrian. Again, this book is dropping August 7th, folks. For real. Don't F around. Put this on your pull list. Now, go visit even Magma Comix, on social, everywhere, website and all. you'll see when the book what they got. You know what I mean? Get those lunar codes, diamond codes, every distributor code that you need, and make sure your LCS gets this for you. And most importantly, you got to follow these two guys on social, right? All over the socials, you can follow Big Joey over here at Joey Esposito, all right, everywhere. And you can follow my man Sean, the artist over here at Von Gorman Art, all right? I mean, that sounds like some fancy studio, Von Gorman Art.
I do operate as a studio, but this is where the magic happens. When I take this down, there's my bed. So
hey, make it happen, folks. Yo, my fellow Crusaders, please, show support and love for these two independent, awesome creators over here that are killing the game and about to murder it even more with the Pedestrian dropping August 7th through Magma Comix. Follow everything Comic Crusaders. You know where we at. We're everywhere, Comic Crusaders, all right? As well as Undercover Capes. I mean, thank you guys from a fan to creators. Just want to say thank you guys for putting your work out there, sharing your vision, sharing your stories, because that takes courage and bravery. So thank you for being so bold in your journey. And keep on going on, because I can't wait to see what y'all guys are doing with this amazing book.
Thanks so much, man. We appreciate it.
And then thanks so much to Comic Crusaders in general, because you guys have always put out stuff about my work back when I was doing stuff for Black Mask.
Yeah.
I think you guys even put out stuff for Pawn Shop. So Comic Crusaders, still one of the last people in the game still doing this in an effective way. So I really appreciate, through all the years of you've always let people know about my stuff, and I really do appreciate all the support over the years.
Well, it's our pleasure. That's why we're Crusaders over here. We're crusading to show off the best in the business, baby. The best in comics, especially in the world of indie. Because you guys are the future of this industry. I mean, you're already making moves. I mean, Joey done made it. He won a contest and then murdered the game, and now he keep killing it. Sean is murdering it too, all over the place. This is why I'm excited to talk to people like you guys, because you definitely used to see y'all growth and all again through the years. Very true. So it's like, thank you for that. But it's my honor and pleasure to see you guys go. Comic Crusaders is feels like a big Papa Bear when they see the people they've been supporting so long keep growing and going on. So salute to you guys. Hats off, man.
Thanks, man.
It's a team sport altogether.
Absolutely, and there we go, folks. This is what it is. Crusaders, hasta la próxima. Huepa!
Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.shop and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.